So let's see. Aaron Kelton was named the new head football coach at Savannah State. Joseph Flegler was named the head men's basketball coach at Wiley College. Prairie View defensive end Darius Hawkins had an impressive NFL pro day. And if you haven't heard the news, Tennessee State is going to be playing Notre Dame in 2023. But let me guess. That's not what you're here for, right? So there has been a big story brewing, and I can't sit up here and tell you that I had any indication or inkling that that was going to be the case. Typically, when you talk about Grambling athletics or anything in Grambling athletics, it's typically related to football, as was the case. And you know, if it makes national news, typically it's surrounding, new coaching hires, as is the case with Hugh Jackson when he became the new head coach at Grambling. And then, of course, there was the news about Art Browse being the offensive coordinator. And then there was the news about Art Browse resigning as offensive coordinator. There was a huge buzz about the Black and Gold game and the success that it was with respect to the fact that even the Pivot podcast made an appearance and brought a lot of attention to that. And from all indication, it was a success and even had a homecoming-like vibe. I didn't get an opportunity to go, but from what I understand, it was all positive. But something happened along the way. And that was the case with the Grambling State volleyball team, in which we were informed that the newly selected head coach, Chelsey Lucas, cut everybody from the team. Everybody that was on the roster, she cut them. And that created a big stink. But that is going to be the topic. This is Kenn Rashad, special midday edition of HBCU Sports Live. And do me a favor, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and make sure you subscribe to us on all of the social media podcasts. The social media networks. Let's see here. So anyway, there was a big brouhaha with the Grambling volleyball coach, basically indicating that everybody who was a member of the volleyball coach was cut, and they I'm trying to figure out. Forgive me. Hold on here. Okay. Anyway, so the Chelsey. I'm just hold on here. I've got technical difficulties here. Bear with me. Okay. All right. Anyway, so Chelsey Lucas, newly named volleyball coach at Grambling, was formerly the head coach at UAPB and before that at Alcorn State. And like I said, cut the entire roster. Now, there was an unverified Twitter account that really made a huge stink, and that's kind of what started all of this. And then there were other reports, and then people who reached out to me via direct message indicating that it was true. Apparently, there were members of the volleyball team who indicated that they were going to enter into the transfer portal because they had been let go. And it created a huge topic of discussion to the extent that when we published the story, it even went viral and actually created quite a bit of noise nationally. So I said, you know what, let's go ahead and talk about it, because I think I think what makes this so unique is the fact that, one, it is volleyball. It's a non-revenue sport. And I'm not saying that makes a difference because there are a lot of factors to put in consideration. You got a head coach who's been brought in to change the culture. If you look at the past, 10, 11 seasons at Grambling, it's been, the seasons haven't been ideal. I think a lot of that has to do with resources and not necessarily giving the program ample support, but that's another topic for another day. But when you put in consideration that these coaches are brought in to win, ultimately they're going to be judged according to wins and losses, right? And when you put that into consideration, you have to kind of look at this from their point of view. The ADs have a job to do. They have the responsibility of bringing in the right people to create a winning culture in their athletic department. So we get all of that, because we always like to say that the kids come first, or that student athletes come first. And I believe for the most part that is true until situations like this take place. All of the members who were on the volleyball team were let go. And we'll get into that because I have a unique perspective. I personally think that if you're going to hold a coach accountable for wins and losses, then you have to give the coach a certain level of autonomy to make the decisions that he or she feel necessary to make if they're going to be held accountable, as long as they do it obviously within the rules. But there was another element to this that was brought to my attention by a Grambling alum that really kind of got to me because, and I think it's something that's not being discussed, and I'm going to reach out and I'd love to get your comments. If you've got a question in the comments section, by the way, that you like for me to address, please start it off with the letter Q and then ask your question. That way I can kind of go through the comments and address them properly. I'm also going to put the number up for the phone line, and we'll be able to take your phone calls as well. But the other issue with respect to the volleyball situation is that, okay, you let the members of the volleyball team go, but what about the individuals, high school student athletes, who had been notified by the previous coach that they have either been awarded maybe a scholarship or had been invited to come on as a walk-on to the program? Because it's my understanding that those individuals currently in high school who had made plans to come to Grambling to either try out for the volleyball team or to actually who had maybe earned a scholarship for the volleyball team. I was told that the current coach also basically told them that, yeah, you may have gotten a email or a call or a letter from the previous coach indicating that you've been awarded a scholarship or that you've been awarded an opportunity to come and walk on. But then I'm told that the new coach informed these the student athletes that your scholarship or that your walk-on opportunity is null and void. And I think there may be, I think that's pretty harsh. So we're going to talk about that. Let's see. Let me look at some of the comments that we have here. Raymond Holly, how does her record hold up to do something like this? I believe, I don't have the details in front of me, but I believe her last season at UAPB was a winning one. There was even some speculation that she was basically letting go all of the other players so that she can bring on players from UAPB. I don't know. But I will say I do believe, as harsh as it is, and we are dealing with, this ultimately is going to impact for the foreseeable future. This is going to have some degree of an impact on those student athletes who had made a commitment to play at Grambling, who now are going to leave Grambling because they want to continue their volleyball career, and they appreciate the sport. But again, if the new coach is going to be held responsible for the wins and losses, she should be given a certain level of autonomy to kind of navigate this in the way that she sees fit. But my question again to you all is, what about the letters that went out to those high school student athletes who were invited and told, come to Grambling next year to resume your volleyball career? And for all we know, when they got that letter and they made that commitment, I'm going, any opportunities that they may have gotten from any other institution, well, they may have said, I'm done. And then all of a sudden, you get this news that you can come to Grambling, but I don't need you for the volleyball team. And I think that is something that probably should be addressed. Should the team honor those commitments that had already been made should the athletic department honor those commitments to the individuals who had committed? Let's see. Feel free to call in. So 469-263-1761 is the number. Give us a call, and let's get your thoughts on that particular subject. So let me see. We got more comments here. Let me see what we've got. Let's see. Michael Knox. Grambling is becoming a win at any cost institution. Michael, that's pretty harsh, huh? That remains to be seen at this point. To win at all costs. I mean, okay, I get it. Let me see here. Candy Rounds Joiner, everyone keep in mind that this is about the treatment of athletes. Again, it is about athletes. It's about student athletes, and their lives are impacted by this. I don't want to come across as being insensitive, but this, in many ways makes me think that this is just kind of one of those, life lessons that for the most part, life isn't fair. And that, as they continue to matriculate throughout the rest of their college years, and as they go on to their adult lives and into their career paths, formulating their career paths, there may be some additional obstacles that they may come across that they're going to have to deal with. So no, it's not ideal, but I can certainly appreciate the sentiment. Let's see here. Simone, there's the number, 469-263-1761, if you'd like to call in and give me your thoughts. She terrorizes athletes to win at all costs. Okay. All right. So let's see here. We've got a caller. Let me see. Caller, you there?
Hi.
Hello.
I am here.
Who am I speaking with?
My name is Simone Joyner.
All right, Simone. What are your thoughts about the situation?
So my thoughts about the situation as a current volleyball player and a current player of the Grambling State coach, I've actually been in contact with a lot of girls, and I'm a coach myself. I coach volleyball. I understand that scholarships are yearly and everything like that, but I feel like the girls that are coming in, I feel like they deserve to still keep that opportunity to play, Because what if they cut off all other college coach communications and already decided, hey, I'm going here, and already started filling out the paperwork and stuff like that? I just feel like that's an unfair situation. And I do feel like cutting off the entire team without giving them a chance to perform and really see what they can do isn't fair either as well.
Simone, what, now just for clarification, what are you say you are a coach?
Yes, I am a coach. I coach, I've coached everything. I've coached boys volleyball. I've coached little tots that were like 5 years old. Currently, I'm coaching 14-year-olds. I've coached 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds. I've done it all. Okay.
And have you in any way, are you familiar with the Grambling volleyball team? Do you have any sort of... Oh,
yes. I actually spoke with them 2 weeks ago. Once I found out, I actually tweeted that I was sad for Grambling to have her as a coach. And I had the girls reach out to me within the next 5 days saying that they felt like she was unfit to coach and she was overworking them. The same thing that she did with me in 2016 at Alcorn State University. And I just kind of gave them the rundown that this is her mode of operation. She goes in, she wipes out the program, she conquers, and she moves on. And that's just what she does.
Okay.
And
so you play volleyball at Alcorn, and you were, she was your coach while she was there?
Yes, in 2016 all the way through 2018.
Okay, so what's that, 3 years you played?
She had me for 2 years. I actually was still on a scholarship my senior year, but due to the situation, I removed myself just to protect my mental health, and I just went and did school, but I was still on a scholarship for volleyball.
Okay, so let me ask you this. She goes from Alcorn, she goes to UAPB, and now she's at Grambling, and she is a Grambling graduate. Not that that matters, but let me ask you this then. Apparently, she has no problem getting the job as a head coach. What do you think it is about her that athletic administrators, athletic directors see that makes her so appealing to constantly get these head coaching roles?
I think it's more so of what they don't see than what they do see. Because when she was at Alcorn, I wrote many letters along with many other girls on the team trying to describe the things that we were going through that just were unfit. So I feel like it's not necessarily what they see. I mean, they could see, she was a great player when she played. I will give it to her. She knows volleyball. But knowing how to treat her athletes is not something that she does. And I feel like the SWAC doesn't pay enough attention to the people that they're hiring and passing around within our community.
We did reach out when we published this story, and we did get a quote from Grambling Athletic Director Travion Scott. And his statement to us was, and I quote, "Just as the transfer portal empowers student athletes, our coaches are also empowered to make the decisions they deem necessary to advance their programs." Is this, I know you say that this is kind of par for the course with respect to, those scholarships only being good for 1 year. Do you have a problem with the way these scholarships are produced? I mean, do you have a problem with the way these scholarships are with the players and how they are with respect to how they're only 1 year as opposed to, say, 4 year? I mean, and I'm asking you this because you were at one point a student athlete.
Yes. I have no issue with scholarships being yearly because that's like coaching now. If you're not producing, you're not on the court. Same thing. If you're not producing, you're not on the team. However, it's the fact that she did not give these girls an opportunity to prove themselves, and that's where I just feel like it's wrong.
Yeah,
it's wrong.
Right. We did reach out to Dr. Scott. He did provide us with the a statement. We did invite him on. We also reached out to Coach Lucas, and we did not get a response from her, but do know that either one of you are welcome to come on. I'd love to talk to you, and maybe you can provide some additional details or context that we may not be aware of.
I would love that.
So with respect to, obviously you dealt with her at Alcorn, and there's been a lot. Look, and I want to be careful not to get into it because there's been a lot of personal stuff that's been mentioned about her, and I don't want to get along those lines, but apparently there have been some individuals who talked about how she was at UAPB. Do you know any of those student athletes? Are you aware? I mean, how did your teammates respond to her when you were at Alcorn?
My teammates and I kind of responded with just like we have to come together because she doesn't have our back, so we have to have our own back. So it was really just us versus her, which is why when she had that first opportunity to wipe us out the way she just did Grambling, she took it. And it's really hard to see, especially in, the HBCU. I love Black people. That's why I went to HBCU. I wanted to be surrounded by people. So to see someone of the same color trying to tear us down just to win, I feel like it's so much deeper than that. These are people's educations and livelihoods and things that we've worked for since we were little girls. So it's just, all we could do was come together and try to tell people about it, but the athletic director at Alcorn State University wasn't listening. The president wasn't listening. There was nobody who was listening to us, which I feel like is the same thing that's happening at Grambling and probably at UAPB. Nobody listens to us.
When you say they weren't listening, what did you do, or what did they not do to get the attention? I mean, what steps did you take to reach out to the AD and to the president at Alcorn when you thought all of this was happening?
Oh, I wrote letters to the AD. I still have them. I wrote letters to the AD, to compliance, to the president, emails. My mama was writing every single day. We were really just trying to say, like, it's not okay for all of us to be in such a bad space with this woman.
Wow.
So, I mean, I did everything I could. Like I said, I've written letters, emails. I still have screenshots. I was really trying to relieve myself of the situation, but nobody was listening.
Wow. Simone, I want to thank you for taking a few minutes to give us a call and to share your experience as a student athlete at Alcorn. Do take the time to call us back. I do appreciate your call.
All righty. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So that is one perspective from a caller and a former student athlete at Alcorn who had quite a bit to say. And you guys are also making comments. LeVar Graham, I feel SWAC ADs just don't care. They can gift wrap garbage and tell you they made a good choice. Get people on social media to generate BS support propaganda. Then when it fails, they want you to be quiet. You know what, LeVar? I don't know if it's just SWAC ADs, but I think your point is a valid one. And I get it. Look, when you're in the role of an athletic director or a college administrator, I get it. Look, you do at times want to make sure that when things are going good, you want to make sure they stay good and you want to focus on the good things. But I am one who believes that when a so-called negative situation gets out of hand, you do have to at times take the proper steps to kind of, make sure that no one tells your story. And we've seen this happen several times. I don't want to go back to the Art Browse situation, but, Grambling not speaking on that case was a prime example. And then you had Doug Williams to come out and say what he said. And he isn't even an official spokesperson for Grambling, but he, in many instances, became an official spokesperson for Grambling because of what he did say. And a lot of that was due in part because the athletic director and Grambling as a whole just kind of stayed quiet and didn't say anything. They just kind of wanted it to go away. So you make a valid point on that with respect to the ADs, but I don't know if it's just limited to SWAC ADs. But there are some who do a better job of it than others. And I will say that Grambling is a very unique situation to have an SID in Brian Howard, who I think is, without question, one of the best in the business, especially in HBCU circles. Let me see what else is being said here. Let me see. Candy Rounds Joyner, she attempted to take Simone's scholarship after an injury in which she was to be redshirted. Okay. Brandon Willis, how you doing, brother? I agree. It's the individual ADs that makes these decisions. Just because things don't always go to the student athlete's way does not mean they are correct. I agree that it's the individual ADs. Well, I get it. I mean, point taken. I get it. But at the same time, Brandon, let me just say this. It doesn't mean they're always correct, but it doesn't mean that they're always wrong either. You know, I think the student athlete has to be, you know, I mean, if this is all about the student athlete, like many ADs like to say, at some point you're going to have to listen to them, you know, because and now get it. I get it. There may be some individuals who might have personal gripes, and you have to kind of take these accusations sometimes with a grain of salt. But at some point, when you have one and then two, maybe three or four people beginning to kind of talk about the same thing, at some point you're going to have to maybe kind of take that into consideration. And if nothing else, I will put it like this. Maybe then the ADs or the college, the individuals who work in these athletic departments, maybe they need to pivot a little bit, you know. But when you've got students who say we've reached out to the athletic directors and no one is addressing the issue, you know, I think that is a problem. Just like many of these athletic directors don't necessarily always address some of these negative issues that become national news, that's a problem for the university. So I'm not going to sit up here and say that these student athletes are always wrong, because they're not. These administrators aren't perfect. And, you know, sometimes a lot of this, it just comes with the territory. Let me see here. I got another caller. Caller, you there?
This is Candy Rounds Joyner. This is in regards to the HBCU coach at Grambling.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. I hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. My daughter was a former volleyball athlete under Chelsey Lucas. I struggle to respect the coach, and I hear everyone talking about, you know, the being a winner. The coach has the power to choose how she wants the team, who she wants on the team. My daughter was actually recruited by the coach that was before Lucas. She was already on the team. Lucas was there within a month. My daughter sustained an injury on a road trip in which the coach never sought medical treatment for her. I had to insist when they came back off the road trip for one of her teammates to drive my daughter in my daughter's car to the nearest hospital for x-rays. From there, the relationship with coach went downhill. And it was just disheartening, because now I'm trying to seek treatment for my daughter who's from California but in Mississippi. The coach didn't even write an incident report. So if people are complaining about the manner in which she conducts athletic business in regards to her school, everyone needs to look into that. This is not about winning. It's about these young ladies' mental being and their health. She over-exercises or just random punishment drills is what they seem like. It seems like hazing, in my opinion. And then the whole having to write letters to get someone. Are you guys going down there to see what this coach is doing? Is anybody listening to all these girls? And then the whole drama that sounded like something straight out of a high school movie, and the way in which she was getting athletes to write letters against other athletes. It was a whole lot of different things going on at Alcorn that I wrote letters to the president, to the athletic director, to the compliance officer. I even contacted NCAA.
And with those letters that you wrote to the athletic administrators, did you ever get a response?
I did. They responded almost every time, but I was writing weekly.
You said they did respond to your letters?
They did. They did.
Okay, and what was the result? I mean, what type of response did you get from them?
Well, at one point she wrote a letter to suspend Simone from the team, and I wanted to know on what basis. So by the time she created this document listing some offenses that had nothing specifically written in them, I still have this information. And the same letter was sent to 2 other athletes on the team, the same letter with nothing specific, just a month and a statement. I challenged it all, and it was reversed. And my daughter remained on the team.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. With respect to the injuries that your daughter sustained, did the school take care of those? Did they take care of the injuries? Medical wise, did they take care of it?
Not all of it, but enough. They did not pay for all of it.
Okay. I thank you for your call, and I will say this. This is a serious issue, and I'm glad you've taken the time to call, and this is to hear this is unnerving. So thank you, ma'am, for taking a few minutes to call in and share your thoughts about this and your personal experience between you and your daughter. And hopefully people are watching, and we can get these administrators to come on and share their experience and kind of give us their comment as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Please keep in mind, it's about the health and treatment of these athletes. That's primary.
First and foremost, I get it. Understood. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So you guys, it's a lot there. And, I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. But again, I will say this. Travion Scott, Coach Lucas, these are individuals who are talking about their own personal experience. And I think at some point, this isn't one of those type of situations where you just need to kind of ignore it. And I think it might be to your benefit to at least speak on behalf of the athletics department and get some answers here. These are individuals from previous institutions who are talking about your coaching style and your coaching methods, and individuals who may be looking at Travion Scott and saying, what was there? So, the hire is the hire, but, I just think that there's a lot that's we're slowly starting to hear about that may need to be addressed. Let me see here. Rube, how you doing, sir? More comments. The AD at Grambling better get this under control quickly, or it's going to be very bad. I will say this about Travion Scott, and I don't know him personally, and I've heard nothing but good things about him, even going back to his days at Southern. I don't know if this is a directive that's coming from up top, but to be quite honest with you, other than a few statements that we've heard with respect to the Art Browse hire and the comment that was made there, and maybe a comment here or there, quotes that we may have read in the newspaper, I haven't really heard much from him. And, maybe Grambling Knights can speak to it. Has he met with some alumni groups? But I think that having to hear from him and to kind of get a feel for what his philosophy is and what he's about, I think would go a long way. So I don't know if it's going to be very bad, but I think it remains to be seen, Rube. But I understand your point. Brandon, let me see what you've got. How do you over-exercise a Division I athlete? Running is good for you. Brandon, come on, man. You look now. Look. I don't know what to say about that. I can't speak to that. Let me see what else. Brandon, let me see. Where's the proof in these accusations? I'm not agreeing with the GSU coach, but just because athletes don't get their way does not make the coach wrong. Okay, I got you. Let me see here. Okay. So you know what? We were only going to do this for about an hour anyway. And we're going to come back on again later this evening, along with Kendrick Marshall. And we'll continue this discussion. And we will also talk about the historic announcement of Tennessee State playing against Notre Dame in football in 2023. Kendrick reached out to the athletic director, Mickey Allen, and got a unique perspective as to how that all came about. So if you guys would feel free to join us again later on this evening, 6 o'clock Central, and we'll talk then. Talk to you later.